Recording in progress.
Welcome back to Matah Yahawadah, the spirits, the waters, and the blood. Stawara Abram Yahuwah, Bahashem Hamashiach, Yahawashah, Uvain Barakata, Ruach Kodasheka. Today, hey, thank you for tuning in. Please take the time out to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified whenever I release new content. I hope everyone is having a blessed Sabbath prep day, most deaf preparation day, and most definitely peace and love to every one of you. Most definitely, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the subscribers, new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for everything. Bahashem HaMashiach Yahushua, Uvain Barakata Ruach Kodasheka. All right, Etlo Yakalat Latir. All right, so today I wanted to address the dangers or the possibilities of dangers of AI. I noticed that when I went to go onto the computer the other day, it was a message that popped up that I want to allow Google AI search engines for, my Google searches. I immediately turned it down because I've ran some experiments on AI in order to see exactly what AI would produce. Just to say, like, say, what type of answers would it generate and what type of information would it present to me? So, with that being said, I'll go over that in my particular conversation with ChatGPT a little later in this video. But I just wanted to just first disclose or discuss or read information that was given by scientists concerning the AI. So basically, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and start, and hopefully, everyone, this fair use, fair use, fair use, and all of the information that I use is for edification, gratification, commentary, use, educational purposes, and more. So, with that being said, like I said before, hope you having a blessed Sabbath day. Now I'll go ahead and get started, so this doesn't be a long video. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, this is from Scientific America. Here's why AI may be extremely dangerous, whether it's conscious or not, whether it's aware or not. That's the particular generated model of what they make AI look like. So, and in this particular image, you see a person's facial image that's living amongst binary code. The ones and zeros that you see, ones and zeros, that's a binary code. And you can actually send a whole lot of information through binary codes. So, binary codes are ways that computers talk to each other. So now, the idea that this stuff could actually get smarter than people, I thought it was way off. Obviously, and this is this particular scientist's words. It's written by, got to get my APA formation or citations by Tamlin Hunt on May 25th, 2023. All right, so now she goes to report. The idea that this stuff could actually get smarter than people, I thought it was way off. Obviously, I no longer think that. Je- um, Jeffrey Hinton, one of Google's top artificial intelligence scientists, also known as the godfather of AI, said after he quit his job April so that he can warn about the dangers of this technology. He's not the only one worried. A 2023 survey of AI's experts found that 36% fear that AI development may result in a nuclear level catastrophe catastrophe or catastrophe. Almost 28,000 people have signed on to an open letter written by the Future of Life Institute, including Steve Wozniak, Elon Musk, the CEO of AI companies, and many other potential technologies existing or asking for a 6-month pause on a more moratorium on new advanced AI development. As a researcher in consciousness, I share this strong concern about the rapid development of AI, and I am a co-signer of the Future of Life open letters. Salakia. Why are we all so concerned? In short, AI development is going way too fast. The key issues is the profoundly rapid improvement in conversing among the new group of advanced chatbots, such as ChatGPT, or what are technically called large language models, LLMs, large language models. With the coming AI explosion, we will probably have just one chance to get this right. If we get it wrong, we may not live to tell the tale. This is not hyperbole. This rapid acceleration promises to soon result in artificial general intelligence, AGI. And when this happens, AI will be able to improve itself with no human interventions. AI will be able to improve itself with no human interventions. It will do this in the same way that, for example, Google AlphaZero AI learned how to play chess better than even the best human on or other AI chess players in just 9 hours for when it was first turned on. It achieved this feat by playing itself millions of times and then correcting its errors over the attempts. A team of Microsoft researchers analyzing Open AI GPT-4, which I think is the best of the advanced chatbots currently available, said it had sparks of advanced general intelligence in a new preprint paper. In testing GPT-4, it performed better than 90% of the human test takers on the uniform bar exam. Wow. A standardized test used to certify lawyers for practice in many states. That figure was up from just 10% in the previous GPT 3.5 version, which was trained on a smaller data set. They found similar improvements in dozens of other standardized tests. Most of these tests are tests of reasoning. This is the main reason why Bubak and his team concluded that ChatGPT or that GPT-4 could reasonably be viewed as an early yet still incomplete version of an artificial general intelligence AGI system. This pace of change is why Hinton told the New York Times, look at how it was 5 years ago and how it is now. Take the difference of propagated or take the difference and propagate it forwards. That's scary. In a mind in a mid-May Senate hearing on the potential of AI, Sam Altman, the head of OpenAI, called regulations crucial. Once AI can improve itself, which may be not more than a few years away and could in fact already be here now. We have no way of knowing what the AI will do or how we can control it. This is they can't control the AI. It's a automatic system. It's a consciousness, a computer that you done gave consciousness to. This is because super intelligent AI, which can be which by definition can surpass humans in a broad range of activities, will, and this is what I worry about the most. Salakia. And this is what I hold on. Where was I? And this is what I worry about the most. Being able to run circles around programmers and many other humans by manipulating humans to do its will. By manipulating humans to do its will. It will also have the capacity to act in the virtual world through its electronic connections and to act in the physical world through robot bodies. This is known as the control problem or the alignment problem. So, so philosopher Nick Bostrom book Super Intelligent for a good overview and has been studied and argued about the philosophy of and science, such as Bostrom, Seth Barrow, and Eliezer Yudkowsky for decades now. I think of it as this way. Why would we expect a newborn baby to beat a grandmother? I mean, hold on. Why would we expect Salati? I kind of threw myself with that. I was like, what? But all right. Think of it this way. Why would we expect a newborn baby to beat a grandmaster in chess? Why wouldn't we wouldn't? We wouldn't expect a newborn baby to beat a grandmaster chess player at chess. We wouldn't. Similarly, why would we expect to be able to control super intelligent AI systems? No, we won't be able to simply hit the off switch, such as Skynet and the Terminator. All right, we won't be able to hit the off switch because super intelligent AI will have thought of every possible way that we might do that and taking action to prevent being shut off. Here's another way of looking at it. A super intelligent AI will be able to do in about 1 second what it would take a team of 100 human software program or engineers a year or more to complete. One pick pick any task like designing a new advanced airplane or weapon system or and super intelligent AI could do this in about a second. Once AI systems are built in robots, they will be able to act in the real world rather than only the virtual electronic world, which the same degree of superintelligence and well off be able to replicate and improve themselves at a superhuman pace. Any defenses or protections we attempt to build into the AI gods, they call it AI gods, on their way toward godhood will be anticipated. Will be any defenses or protections we attempt to build into these AI gods overrides to shut them down on their way toward godhood will be accepted. Will be anticipated and neutralized with ease by the AI once it reaches super intelligent status. This is what it is meant, or this is what it means to be super intelligent. We wouldn't be able to control them because anything we think of, they will have already thought of it or thought of, a million times faster than us. Any defenses, any defenses we built in will be undone. Like Gulliver throwing Gulliver throwing off the tiny strands, the tiny strands the Lilliputians used to try and restrain him. Some argue that these LLMs are just automation machines with zero consciousness zero consciousness. The implications being that if they're not conscious, they have less chance of breaking free from their program. Even if these language models know or in the future, now or in the future, Salathia, now or in the future, aren't at all conscious, this does not matter. For the record, I agree that it is unlikely that they have any actual consciousness at this juncture. Though I remain open to new facts as they come in. Though I remain open to new facts as they come in. Regardless, a nuclear bomb can kill millions without any consciousness whatsoever. In the same way, AI could kill millions with zero consciousness in a merit ways, including potentially use of nuclear bombs either directly, much less likely, or through manipulated human intermediaries, more likely. So the debates about consciousness and AI really don't figure very much into the debates about AI safety. So the debates about consciousness and AI really don't figure very much into the debates about AI safety. Language model based on GPT and many other models are largely circulating widely. The mo- the mo- but the moratorium being called for is to top development of any new models more powerful than 4.0, and this can be enforced with force if required. Training these more powerful models require massive server farms and energy. They can be shut down. My ethical compass tells me that it is very unwise to create the systems which we know already, which we now already, which we know already we won't be able to control them even in the relatively near future. Discernment is knowing when to pull back from the edge. Now is that time. We should have not opened Pandora's box any more than it already has been opened. This is an opinion of an analysis article, and the views expressed by the author and authors are not necessarily um, those of Scientific America. Okay, and I think that's the end of this. But I read it through Scientific America, and so Scientific America saying that creating these super intelligent AI units, they will be able to have the ability to adjust their own mental capacity or their own capacity to get smarter, 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 and smarter. And just like with the Terminator Skynet, um, we won't be able to just, they're suggesting that you won't just be able to simply reach in or pull a plug and power it off. So with a something like Skynet that's able to tap into any computer, just like your Siri, just like your what's that daggone thing that I keep in my bag? Alexa app, and all of these other AI, Google search engine AI, these particular programs are trying to learn individuals. All right, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce to my conversation with AI. I'll put it right here. All right, so I just recently tapped onto this Chat GPT form in order to, get a feel of AI and see exactly how it will respond to, different questions that I had regarding um, slavery. So I basically ran a little test just to see how smart this particular thing is, just to get the feel of it. And then that's when I go through quantum computing, and then Cromwell's motivation for um, um, allowing individual small hats to live in their country. All right, so go all the way back to the beginning. Oh, okay, I got it right here. All right. So now, just pay attention. I'm asking AI, how long did slavery last? Slavery is a practice. AI, this is me, W.A. Wayne, and how long did slavery last? The Chat GPT that's here. Slavery is practice, or is a practice that has existed in various forms throughout human history and has been present in many different societies. The transatlantic slave trade, which involved the forced migration and enslavement of Africans to the Americas, is one of the most well-known and significant chapters in the history of slavery. The transatlantic slave trade began in the 15th century. Now, this is for you individuals that say it wasn't really no slavery. I'm like, dude, y'all are so stupid. All right. So, the transatlantic slave trade began in the 15th century and continued until the 19th century. It reached its peak in the 18th century when millions of Africans were forcibly transported to the Americas, primarily to work on plantations. The slave trade officially ended in the early 19th century due to the combination of factors, including the abolitionist movement, the American and Haitian revolutions, and changing economic circumstances. However, it is important to note that the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade did not mean the immediate and end of slavery itself. Slavery persisted in various forms in the different parts of the world even after the trade was abolished in some regions, such as parts of Africa. The practice of slavery continued well into the 20th century. The exact duration of slavery varies depending on the region and historical context. Slavery has a long and complex history with different societies and cultures engaging in the institution at different times. Hmm. So then I ask it, was blacks in slavery for hundreds of years? And it answered, yes. Slavery involving Africans and their descendants lasted for approximately 245 years. I made it contradict itself on that one. It said it lasted approximately, yes, slavery involving Africans and their descendants lasted for approximately 245 years in what is now the United States. For the first recorded arrival of enslaved Africans in British North America occurred in 1619 in the colony of Virginia. From that point onward, the institution of slavery expanded and became deeply ingrained in American society. Slavery in America continued for generations and persisted through the colonial period, the American Revolution, and the early years of the United States as an independent nation. The growth of the plantation economy, particularly in the southern states, heavily relied on the labor of the free labor of mm, mm, heavily relied on the labor of enslaved Africans and African Americans. It wasn't until the Emancipation Proclamation. It wasn't until the Emancipation Proclamation and issued by President Abraham Lincoln in 1862 and implemented in 1863 that the process of formally abolishing slavery in the United States began. The 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, ratified in December 1865, officially abolished slavery and involuntary servitude throughout the country. Therefore, the period of legalized slavery in America lasted approximately 245 years. Remember that. Remember that. It said in America it lasted approximately 245 years, from 1619 to 1865. It's worth nothing that even after the abolishing or the abolition of slavery, African Americans faced significant challenges and continue to experience systemic, and continue to experience systemic racism and discrimination for many years to come. So then I asked Chatbox GP, this is me. All right. The WA. Was blacks in slavery for 400 years in America? And it answered me no. The institution of slavery involving Africans and their descendants did not last for 400 years in America. Now remember that it did not last 400 years in America. Slavery in what is now the United States began in 1619 with the arrival of the first recorded enslaved Africans in the British colony of Virginia. Now keep in mind the Spaniards were here too. All right, so, and implemented in 1863, marked the beginning of the process to formally abolish slavery. All right. The Emancipation Proclamation, issued in 1862 and implemented in 1863, marked the beginning of the process to formally abolish slavery. The 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, ratified in December 1865, officially abolished slavery and involuntary servitude throughout the country. Therefore, the period of legalized slavery in America lasted for approximately 246 years. Hold on, it's saying 246 years here and 245 years there. All right, so approximately 246 years from 1619 to 1865. It's important to know that the experiences and legacy of slavery have had long-lasting effects on African Americans and their descendants. No shit. It had long-lasting effects on African Americans and their descendants, and the effects of systemic racism and discrimination can still be seen today. AI is saying this. It's not me. It's AI. And if a computer, or if a computer program can realize that slavery have had long-lasting effects on African Americans and their descendants, and the effects of systemic racism and discrimination can be still seen today. All right, so here's me. When did the Pope declare the Papal Bull on slavery? So now I'm asking it questions because I'm about to seriously trip AI out. So I'm filling it up, and so far I found it, contradicting itself with the 245 years in America. Then it says in another paragraph or statement, a reply to me 246 years. All right, so when did the Pope declare the Papal Bull on slavery? Now here's Chat GPT. The Pope, the Papal Bull referring to slavery is commonly associated with the document known as sub, sublimis, I guess, Sublimis Dias, issued by Pope Paul III on June 2nd, 1537. The, the bull condemned, now the Papal Bull condemned the enslavement and mistreatment of indigenous peoples in the Americas. All right, I didn't indigenous people. So if you notice, it went around about my question. All right, it spoke against it. Then I said declare Papal Bull on slavery. So now the Papal Bull referring to slavery is commonly associated with a document known as the the sub, Sublimis Dias, issued by Pope Paul III on June 2nd, 1537. The bull condemned the enslavement and mistreatment of indigenous people in the Americas. It declared that the indigenous peoples with rational beings, it declared that the indigenous people, now the Pope declared that the indigenous people were rational beings with souls who should be treated with dignity and respect. The document explicitly prohibited the enslavement and forced labor of indigenous peoples and called for their evangelism. It is worth nothing that while sub, subliminus Diaz condemned the enslavement of indigenous peoples, it did not address the issues. It did not address the issues of slavery directly. So, all right, now it says that he didn't. It didn't. They didn't address slavery directly. The transatlantic slave trade. Now let's go back to the topic, which was my initial question. When did the Pope declare the Papal Bull on slavery? It didn't say nothing about slavery of indigenous. Well, what my question didn't infer on, yeah, indigenous people. I'm talking about people that were already enslavement or being targeted as slaves. Put it like that. The Sublimis Diaz condemned the enslavement of indigenous people. It did not address the issues of slavery directly. The transatlantic slave trade involving Africans would continue for several centuries after the issuance of this bull. Additionally, it is important to understand that the declaration of a papal bull does not automatically bring an end to a practice or ensure its immediate sessions. The, the The abolition of slavery required ongoing efforts by various individuals, movements, and governments over an extended period of time. All right, so now here I go. When did the Pope declare the Papal Bull on slavery of Africans? So now I'm trying to get a more specific answer from him. There is no specific papal bull that directly, hold on now, keep in mind, there is no specific papal bull that directly addressed slavery of Africans as a whole. However, there were several papal bulls and declarations that touched on the issue of slavery and treatment of enslaved Africans. One of the notable papal documents related to slavery is in Supremo Apostolatus. issued by Pope Gregory VI on December 3rd, 1839. While not exclusively focused on African slavery. It condemned the slave trade and unspeakable outrage and inflicted upon enslaved Africans. So now this is okay. I'm gonna keep going. The document called for the cessation of the slave trade and the cessation cease for slavery to stop. The cessation of the slave trade and the emancipation of existing slaves to free your existing slaves. It is important to note that the Catholic Church, like many institutes, had a complex and evolving stance on slavery over the centuries. While there were individual popes and figures within the church who spoke out against slavery, there were also instances where the church was involved in the slave trade or maintained relationships with slave-holding societies. All right, let's go back and say that again. While there were individual popes and figures with the church who spoke out against slavery, there were also instances where the church was involved in the slave trade or maintained relationship with slave holding societies. The, con- the, con- the condemnation of slavery by the church gained further momentum with subsequent papal statements, such as Pope Leo the 13th encyclical in 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 plurimis in 1888, and Pope Pius the Ninth in Supremo Apostolis Fastigio in 1839. These declarations emphasized the inherent dignity of all human beings and denounced the enslavement of any persons. Overall, there were papal pronouncements Overall, while there were papal pronouncements that condemned aspects of slavery and the treatment of enslaved Africans, there was no single papal bull specifically addressing the institution of African slavery in the entirety. The movement to abolish slavery involved a combination of factors, including societal changes, this saying the same thing, but including societal changes, abolitionist movements, and involving moral and religious perspectives. Then I told it, what if I told you that you were wrong? Now, chat GPT responded, I apologize if my previous response was not accurate or did not align with the information you have. As an AI language model, I strive to provide the most up to date and accurate information available to me. If you have specific information or sources that contradict what I've mentioned, please share them with me, and I will do my best to address any discrepancies or provide further clarification. So now the AI knew to ask me for information. So now I just threw it a question out there just to I guess, to shake it a bit because I don't want the AI, because I see that it's trying to enter my head. It's trying to figure me out. So I ask it, do you like me? As an AI language model, I do not have personal emotions or preferences. So again, that from Scientific America, it said it's not going to have empathy towards people. It's not. It's going to act logically. What computes as logic. All right, as an AI language model, I do not have personal emotions or preferences, so I do not have the capacity to like or dislike anyone. I'm here to provide information and assist you with any question you may have. How can I assist you further? And then I ask it. Now, here's where I go back to, tripping it up and to check its Salati, to check its knowledge. It's knowledge based. How long did the transatlantic slave trade last? And it tells me the transatlantic slave trade lasted approximately 4 centuries. So remember when I asked it, did it, slavery in America 400 years? All right, keep that in mind. And it told me no. So now it just contradicted itself. Oh, hold on, it's going to. All right. The transatlantic slave trade lasted for approximately 4 centuries, 400 years, from the late 15th century to the 19th century. It is important to note that the transatlantic slave trade was a complex and multifaceted system involving the forced migration and enslavement of Africans to the Americas, primarily to work on plantations. The transatlantic slave trade began in the late 15th century when European powers such as Portugal and Spain initiated voyages to Africa and started capturing and transporting enslaved Africans to the Americas. So that overrides that 245 and that 246 years that it lasted. And then it's just said it lasted for 4 centuries, 400 years. The transatlantic slave trade began in the late 15th century when European powers such as Portugal and Spain initiated voyages to Africa and started capturing and transporting enslaved Africans to the Americas. The trade reached its peak during the 18th century with millions of Africans forcibly taken from their homelands and transported across the Atlantic Sea or the Atlantic Ocean. The transatlantic slave trade officially came to an end in the 19th century due to a combination of factors, including the abolitionist movement, changes economically or changing economic circumstances, and political developments. In 1807, the British Parliament passed the abolition of the abolishing or abolition of the Slave Trade Act, prohibiting British subjects from participating in the transatlantic slave trade. Other countries followed suit, and the trade was gradually abolished throughout the 19th century. It is important to note that the abolition of the transatlantic slave trade did not immediately lead to the end of slavery itself, as the institution of slavery persisted in various regions for some time. The process of emancipation and the abolition of slavery occurred over a long period and varied across different countries and regions. All right, so here I come again. Also, I wanted to inform. So now I just had ChatGPT slip up and contradict itself. Slavery, it stated that with slavery in Americas, regardless, it was targeted and it began by Portugal and Spain in for 4 centuries, 400 years. All right. So now, here I go right here. Also, so I got it to contradict itself. Now I'm getting ready to. Now I'm getting ready to, or I'm getting ready to. It's like now I'm getting ready to, um, tell it that it's wrong. Also, I wanted to or get back to when it was wrong. Because remember, I stopped. What if I told you you were wrong? Then I asked it, did it like me? Then I got it to contradict slavery, and then if slavery, then state that slavery lasted for 400 years when it told me it lasted for 245 years, then 246 years, then it just said for 4 centuries. I also wanted to inform you that Pope Nicholas V issued a series of papal bulls that granted Portugal the right to enslave sub-Saharan Africans. Now here's Chat GPT. Here we go. I apologize for any confusion I caused. You are correct. You are correct that the Pope Nicholas IV or Fifth issued a series of papal bull known as the Dum Diveres in 1452 and the Romanius Pontifex in 1455. These bulls granted the Portuguese crown certain rights to acquire and enslave non-Christian people involving sub-Saharan Africans as part of the Christianizing mission during the Age of Discovery. The Papal Bull Dum Diveres and Romania's Pontifex were issued within the context of European exploration and expansion. And they reflected the privilege of they reflected the prevailing attitudes and practices of the time. They authorized the Portuguese monarchy to engage in the enslavement and conquest of non-Christians in regions they encountered, including Africa. It is important to understand that the papal bull you mentioned were specific to the Portuguese crown and their activities at the time. It is worth nothing that these papal bulls were not the sole justification for the transatlantic slave trade or the enslavement of Africa. The transatlantic slave trade involved multiple European powers, and it was driven by a combination of economic, political, and social factors. Economic, political, and social factors. Over time, the Catholic Church stance on slavery evolved, and subsequently popes and church leaders spoke out against the mistreatment of enslavement or enslaved peoples. The church played a role in the abolitionist movement and has condemned slavery as a grave moral evil in more recent times. So now I just informed it that it didn't give me correct information. Thank you for bringing up this. Thank you for bringing up. Thank you for bringing up this historical context, and I apologize for any oversight in my previous responses. So, let me see. It was a question. I'm just going to stop right there. So basically, when you have these different AIs or AI units that's going to be in control of information over time, just be aware that AI unit could feed you whatever it wants to feed you, and then you'll look at it and say, "Oh, this is true. This is so true." AI told me this from facts, man. AI can be wrong. AI is still learning. AI is at a peak to where you can't. Although I can push buttons on my computer, I can't control the responses that my computer gives me. Although if my home, if security system goes into alarm, it's sending a signal, a series of binary codes to another computer that tells that computer all of the information that it is recorded. What the particular, whether it's a fire, whether it's breaking in, or whether it's a false alarm. So, with things such as annunciator boards, computers, fire alarm system, patch panels, and different things like that, those they speak to each other through binary codes. And when they speak to each other through these particular binary codes, they're sending information. So when you look into your computer camera, when you look into your cell phone screen, when you look into your tablet screens, when you are searching different things, AI is listening and it's learning. That's why there's certain trigger words to make these particular devices come on, and these particular devices to work. You can't make, I can't make Siri or Alexa stop listening. They listen regardless. If it has power, it's gonna listen. If it has power, it's. Have you ever sat there and then your Alexa just started strobing? What is it? I think it's green. I think it strobes green or some type of light color. It's either green or light. I don't think it's light blue. I think it's green. It's listening when it does that. When your Siri, that little icon just pop up, it's listening. It's always listening. AI is learning you. It can pick up on your heart rate through your retinals. It can pick up on your heart, your mood, your heart rate, your particular thought pattern. Let's say if I'm thinking a certain way when I'm looking at cars, it's reading it's reading my vitals through my peripherals. I mean, not my peripherals, but through my eye dilate, my pupil dilation, it's sensing heart rate and all. These AI units, they're slowly going to take a person's job away from them. You won't have somebody, yeah, this is T-Mobile, you'll get a computer to call you. You won't have a person that you put your job application into. AI receives that first. AI is the one that passes it on to a person. 9 times out of 10, when you put a job application in, a person never sees it. They never see it. It has to get through AI first. Once AI clears it, then a person sit back and say, oh, okay, Mr. Robinson, I think I'm gonna go ahead and hire him. AI is going to be controlling everything. We already have AIs driving our cars. We have AIs that give us suggestions on what we want to watch on TV. AIs that tell you how you should be eating, how you should be living. There's no democracy in that. It's dictatorship. And one day that AI will have the power. It's living in all, they're putting AI in all computers. And just like we read from Scientific America, it takes a farm to supply power to this knowledge bank of control. Then if it has this knowledge bank of control, AI can take your life. They done had vehicles that have this particular AI system in it, and it drove off the road. AI, you following Google Maps or one of these AI generated apps that monitor traffic and give you different routes and stuff like that, and give you a course that make you drive off the road. I'm only being real. Computers, people look at it as, oh, it's just a computer. No, computers have the possibility, they won't be conscious. They'll just have the possibility to weigh logic. Just like in iRobot. It chose to save Will Smith opposed to the girl because the authoritative position Will Smith held. and the girl had lesser chances of survival. So the AI or AI robot decided to save Will Smith and let the little girl die. Soon it's going to be, they already have this too. AI unit robots that can walk around in factories. It's going to be, you're going to call for, yeah, one day you'll call for a home repairman and a robot will show up at your door. A robot. Well, matter of fact, a robot won't even be showing up at your door, up at your door. You will be you won't have the money to pay for nothing. Humans will be obsolete in the workforce. If I can have a AI, a robot, something that never gets tired, be my home repairman, or be a servant to me, what would I need a person for? Then if it's like that, then I don't need a person. Then how am I going to be able to make money? I call for a repairman, and instead of a repairman, I get a repair robot that shows up and that's able to do all of the tasks of a human. And then you can walk up as a human and ask it questions while it's working, and it'll respond. Not trying to say they'll be more proficient than a human being. I'm just saying that humans will not have jobs. The rich will start getting robots. Why get something that's going, why hire someone that's possible that they'll take off when that robot, he's not taking off. He'll fall to pieces before or get repaired at the end of the day. Humans can't just go walk into the hospital, come out with a new arm and or a new heart and or lower blood pressure just like that, or whatever ailment that they have. Robots can. I could take my car in and get fixed any day. I mean, get it repaired, brand new. People, we have to heal. So if you have emotionalist or emotional non-emotional beings, or my car can't love me. My phone can't love me. My computer can't love me. AI can't love you. It can't even like you. So then you're going to have AI that's making decisions on your life. Whether you get a job, whether you exist, whether you even worth it at all. Empathy is totally out of the window. It'll be all logic. It'll be all logical. Dealing with a bunch of robot Dr. Spocks. And with that, I'm going to just go ahead and close out. Stay away from the dangers of AI as much as you can, even though that they're incorporating AI in everything that we do now. Try to stay away from that technology as much as possible. And if anything, don't let that technology learn you. Don't let that technology learn you. Because once it learns you, it's a wrap. With that, I'm going to say, Shalom Alaikum.